Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda, and today I am going to be reading the lowest rated book on my Goodreads TBR. So this year I've been spending a lot of time trying to clear out my TBR, and I've been doing different challenges here and there to allow myself to knock out as many of them as I could. I love having books on my TBR because at any moment I can go and see what do I want to read? Let me just scroll through all these different things, and for sure, the more books I have, the more likely it is that I will find something I want to read. Recently, that number has grown more and more and more, and it's making me a little panicked. So I have both a physical TBR, which is all of the books I own have not read. And then I also have a Goodreads TBR, which is all the books that I at some point want to read, but I don't own. So I'm going to be going through my Goodreads TBR and seeing what book on there is the absolute lowest rated and seeing if I can borrow it from the library or from Scribd and read it. Joke's on me because I've already done all of that stuff and I know the book is on Scribd and I know I have the audiobook on Scribd and I know it's only 6 hours. So on times 2 speed, it's only going to take me 3 hours. So even if I absolutely hate it, that's just one day wasted, not even a full day. So that book is The Memory Thief by Lauren Mansay. And like I said, it's only 6 hours long, so I'm gonna sit down and try to knock it out. Its average rating on Goodreads is a 3.2, which is extremely, extremely low for Goodreads, but it only has about 125 ratings as of right now. So I'm going to guess right now that I'll be rating this book either a 2 or 3 star. Let me read to you the summary of this book from Goodreads. In the city of Creowick, memories reign. The power-obsessed ruler of the city, Madame, has cultivated a society in which memories are currency, citizens are divided by ability, and gifted individuals can take memories from each other through touch as they please. 17-year-old Etta Lark is desperate to live outside of the corrupted culture, but grapples with the guilt of an accident that has left her mother bedridden in the city's asylum. When Madame threatens to put her mother up for auction, a Creowick practice in which a criminal's memories are sold to the highest bidder before being killed, Etta will do whatever it takes to save her. Even if it means rejoining the Shadows, the rebel group she swore off in the wake of the accident years earlier. To prove her allegiance to the Shadows and rescue her mother, Etta must steal a memorized map of the Maze, a formidable prison created by the bloodthirsty ruler of a neighboring realm. So she sets out on a journey in which she faces startling attacks, unexpected romance, and, above all, her own past in order to set things right in the world. Hey, guess what? I finished the audiobook. Yep. Oh, I did it in one day. I mean, it really wasn't that hard. I took a few notes while listening to the audiobook about things I wanted to talk about, and I'll get into all of that very quickly. But before I do, let's talk about what I ended up rating it. And before I do that, really quickly, if my door starts moving, it's not a ghost, it's my dog. She's coming in and out. What did I end up rating the book? I ended up rating this book 2.5 out of 5 stars. And honestly, I could lean towards a 2, but I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be a little generous and give it a 2.5. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever read, and it wasn't by far even close to the worst thing I've ever read, honestly. But I definitely understand why it has such a low rating on Goodreads. First biggest complaint is something that is very obvious and I think is the biggest reason why people rated this book poorly. And that is, it's a huge info dump. The author doesn't show you or like let you learn anything in this world. She just gives you the information. And oftentimes even like flashbacks were just told like, this is what it was, and this is how it was, and this is what the information is that you need to know. Character motives were also just flat out told to you and just expressed to you, like what characters wanted and who they are and what they believe in and who they're related to, just told. Other big issue that I had with this book was that once our main character figured out information, like it's a big secret who her grandfather is throughout most of the book. As soon as she figures it out, she's supposed to be the only person that knows in this certain side of the country, and yet other people over there knew. Random people, she'd like run into someone from her past who has no connection to her grandfather, thought she was dead, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, your grandfather, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of problems with convenience, and that was one of them. Her father was another one. The whole entire story of who her grandfather is and how quickly he ends up helping her after finding her again or finding her cause again was way too convenient. To be honest though, almost everything in this book felt convenient or quick or easy to come, easy to happen. There was nothing in the way to keep the main character from getting to where she needed to be. There wasn't any like real angst. I didn't ever feel once worried that she wasn't going to be able to accomplish her goal. There was one setback that I can remember right now, and even that didn't have real stakes in the matter. Something happened where one of the people in her party got blinded, but as soon as he got blinded, she like saw he was blinded and then said, oh, don't worry, it wears off in 2 hours, which will be plenty of time before we get to the next location that we need to be at. My biggest complaint, which I don't think would be many other people's biggest complaint, is this idea of memory that is addressed in the book. I love the idea of like memories being stolen or traded. That was really, really cool. There were 2 types of memory that the author mentioned multiple times that I don't believe are real. First off, the memory of pain is not a thing. You can remember times when you were in pain, and you can remember a lot of the emotions that went along with pain, but right now stop and try to physically remember what pain feels like. And that was something that she talked about, where our main character could give memories to other people and she could overload people with memories of pain. That's not a thing. This is not a thing. Second, our author also spoke about muscle memory. She never used the word muscle memory. She kept referring to it as like memory of skills. So certain people would like buy memories of skill sets that they wanted to have instead of learning the skill themselves. Only will take you so far. There's like certain skills that I can kind of understand would work with that, but the author was talking about skills like painting or drawing or sculpting, martial arts, archery, fighting, like anything like that was specifically mentioned in this book. And I am so sorry, but I have been an artist my entire life. And let me tell you that if I just had the memories of what I've been able to do, I wouldn't be the artist that I am right now. I have to warm up my arm. I have to warm up the muscle memory. And then once that is going, I don't sit and think like, I need to draw a circle here and a line here. I'm just in the zone and my body is doing the motion. And my body, that's not memory in the sense of like memory as the author was talking about. There are 2 more things I'd like to talk about. One, I wrote down a note for myself that all it says is hunters. And I really don't know what to tell you guys about these people, because these are people who have taken memories from animals, and I don't know how I feel about that. They basically took memories from animals and then became wild because they were half human, half animal. And on one part, that's a really cool concept, but she used them as like another enemy to add another like fear and obstacle for the main character, but they really weren't. We ran into them twice. Once where they were kind of an obstacle, but were there for maybe 5 minutes and then the main character got away easy peasy. The second time, they were used as an ex machina. I have a huge problem with them, but I don't know how to express what my problem with them is. And then finally, the final thing that I'd like to talk about is a positive. I'd like to end this reading review on a positive note, the romance in the book. First off, I wasn't sure who was going to be the main romance for the girl until a good chunk through the book. Maybe until like 30 to 40%, maybe even 50% through the book. I wasn't sure. I knew that there was a romance in the book. It wasn't super obvious to me right away who was going to be this romancer. How do I want to say this? I don't want to say the romance wasn't a huge part of the book, because it was a part of the story, but it was so in a way that made more sense. It wasn't super insta-lovey. It was definitely kind of a enemies to lovers trope, and it felt more natural than a lot of other romances I've read. Okay, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you all for watching. If you've read this book, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you more about it there. There are plenty of other things that could be said about this book, both good and bad, that I didn't get to mention right now. Unfortunately, there's just only so much I can remember right now, and only so much I actually really want to talk about in this video. The author needs to work on her writing a little bit more, specifically around dialogue. Dialogue definitely could use some help. Other than that, I mean, I enjoyed myself. I didn't DNF it, so that's something to talk about. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I will talk to you all in the comments. Bye.